Sacred architecture, the Inca science of stone, high in the Andes where the air runs thin and stone seems to breathe with the mountain. A people achieved a mastery of stone construction that, to this day, defies conventional explanation. We are speaking of Inca stone masonry, a discipline that was never simply architecture. It was, above all, a way of thinking. To grasp its magnitude, we must first abandon the idea that these structures were raised with crude tools haphazardly by inexperienced hands. Quite the opposite. Every block, every joint, every wall reflects a system of knowledge accumulated over generations, one in which geometry, physics, and the sacred were woven into a single discipline. There are, broadly speaking, two major techniques within this stone masonry. The first is known as Cyclopean masonry, found at sites such as Sacsayhuaman on the outskirts of Cusco. There, limestone blocks weighing over 100 tons were carved and fitted together with such precision that it's impossible to slide even a sheet of paper between one stone and the next. No mortar, no cement, just stone against stone in a perfect fit. The second technique is polygonal masonry, visible in many walls, where the stones interlock with their neighbors like pieces of a three-dimensional puzzle. Each block has a unique, irregular shape, and yet it fits its neighbors on every plane, including the interior faces that would never be seen by human eyes once construction was complete. This level of precision was not an aesthetic whim. It was, above all, an engineering response to one of the region's greatest challenges: earthquakes. The Andean territory is one of the most seismically active regions on the planet. The Inca builders knew this, and they designed their walls so that, during an earth tremor, the stones could vibrate, shift slightly, and then settle back into their original position. Modern engineers call this phenomenon seismic dance, a silent ballet of tons of rock that has allowed structures over 5 centuries old to remain standing, while colonial buildings erected on top of them have collapsed again and again. Another distinctive feature of this technique is the protrusions, those rounded or rectangular bumps still visible on many of the stones. For a long time, they were thought to be simple handles for transport, but closer analysis reveals that they also served a structural function, helping to distribute weight and fine-tune the feet during assembly, a process that likely involved progressive abrasion, trial and error, and an intimate understanding of how each type of rock behaved. And once the work was finished, many of these protrusions were meant to be removed. And here we must pause to consider something essential. The Incas did not think of stone as an inert material. In the Andean worldview, stone possessed a living force of its own, an energy they called kausai. To carve a rock was not to subdue it, but to enter into dialogue with it, to respect its nature, to uncover the form already pulsing within. That is why so many of these structures never sought uniformity, but rather a harmonious integration between the human and the mineral, between what was built and what already existed in nature. This philosophy of the stone's touch is especially clear at Machu Picchu, where natural rock outcrops were incorporated directly into the foundations of the temples, as though the building had grown straight out of the mountain itself. The Temple of the Sun, with its finely curved stone wall, is perhaps the most eloquent example of this union between technique and spirituality. Its stones, polished to a remarkable finish, were oriented with astronomical precision, so that at the solstices, sunlight falls precisely on specific ritual points. We must then ask how they managed to move and carve blocks of such magnitude across terrain at extreme altitude. Archaeology's most plausible answer combines the use of harder stone hammers, such as hematite axes, along with other tools, carefully planned ramps, an array of ropes, logs used as rollers, and, above all, an extraordinary social organization capable of mobilizing thousands of workers in an orderly fashion under the meta system, a rotating system of communal labor. But beyond the technique, what truly astonishes is the intention behind it. These walls were not meant only to support themselves, they were meant to uphold the order of the cosmos. Inca architecture was, in essence, sacred architecture. Every temple, every community, every agricultural terrace formed part of a larger system of ceremonial pathways connecting Cusco, the navel of the Andean world, with the surrounding territory, and through it with the sacred mountains, the Apus, the stars, and the cosmos. So when we look at an Inca wall today, we are not simply admiring a feat of engineering, we are reading a text written in stone, the silent testimony of a civilization that understood building was never just about raising walls. It was about ordering the universe stone by stone with patience, precision, and a deep reverence for the earth that sustained them. 500 years later, those stones are still there, firm, exact, waiting perhaps for us to finally learn to listen to what they still have to teach us.